Welcome to our weekly broadcast. This is the week of May 11th. It's an exciting time because for several reasons, but we're almost near the end of school. And last week, the governor made an announcement that was encouraging in terms of the reopening of a lot of things throughout the state. Still being very careful, as we all should be, with the current health situation in our nation. But those bring about some feelings of optimism. So I've got two optimistic people with me today. Joining me again is our Director of Public Relations, Whit McGee. Welcome.
Hey there, good to see you.
All right, good to see you too. And also joining us is our Assistant Superintendent for Operations and Services, Dr. Patrick Martin. Dr. Martin, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Freeman. Good morning, everyone.
Glad you guys are joining us. So let me start first with this. Because of the governor's announcement last week that opened up several opportunities throughout our state, one of those is the ability to have an in-person graduation. And we are going to have an in-person graduation. That is outstanding news for our seniors that are going to be walking away this year, our class of 2020. Details are to come. We are working on finalizing a few things. Dr. Burgess will actually be sending out information to seniors and parents very soon about all of that. And we look forward to getting to have this in-person graduation, knowing that there are a lot of things we have to be mindful of and how we coordinate this. Just the fact that we can do something is really exciting. Something else that I want you to be aware of is that next week is the last week of school. And basically what we're going to do is have the last instructional day be Monday, May the 18th. The reason we're going to do that is because we want to that week be able to pick up supplies from your students. We also want you to be able to drop off the things that you have that belong to the school. And so you're going to be hearing from each school this week about when all that's going to take place after the 18th. And because we're going to be taking up Chromebooks and materials and things like that, it may be difficult for us to carry on some instructional days. But next week's important to get all things wrapped up and finished up for the school year. So you hear more about that from your principals in the building this week. We've been preparing for about a year for what is going to be our 50th anniversary as a school system, and that will happen this next school year. And so we have had to make a few alterations because of all the situation in this spring, but I wanted you to update, if you would, the folks about the 50th anniversary.
Absolutely. We are thrilled to have the opportunity to celebrate this important milestone in the history of our school system. 50 years ago, in 1970, our Board of Education was formed, and then our schools opened their doors for the first time in August of that year. We're excited to celebrate that anniversary here coming up this fall. Originally, we had planned to have a special event at the new Pizitz Middle School campus in August, but being mindful of the fact that we are having to make some adjustments because of everything related to the virus and the closure of our schools, we've decided to change the date for that event to October 5th, 2020. So mark your calendars for October 5th, 2020, when we will celebrate the 50th anniversary of our school system at the new Pizitz Middle School campus. I love the imagery of the fact that we first broke off from Berry High School in 1970 to begin the process of forming our own school system, our own high school. And now 50 years later, we're back. It's a beautiful campus. We can't wait for you to see it and to honor the legacy of our school system over the last 50 years through videos, through our new school system Hall of Fame. There's going to be a lot of great things taking place, and we'll be sharing more with all of that over the course of the next few months.
Good. Thanks for the update, Whit. I appreciate the great work on that. And speaking of the new Lewis Pizitz Middle School campus, Dr. Martin has been fast at work since he hit the ground 2 years ago getting this campus ready, and we're really close. But this summer is much to do about getting our people moved into that facility. So, Dr. Martin, what's about to start happening in terms of our moving process?
Well, as we speak right now, Dr. Freeman, we have staff that are entering. Again, they're making sure that they're following the guidelines that have been issued to us by the state of Alabama, as well as our state superintendent, Dr. Mackey. But we actually have staff in the building. They are starting to pack up their materials, and we are looking at the Pizitz campus, starting to transition from our current campus site to the new campus site starting on the Tuesday after Memorial Day, which is the 26th. Likewise, the main campus, they are also working to pack up their materials and have items relocated to the new freshman campus, which is the current Pizitz campus, and they will start their move in the middle of June. So a lot of things going on. I had a chance to talk with staff last Thursday. I'll tell you, it's something else when you have 115 people on a Google Hangout talking about move logistics. But I think staff they've eagerly been anticipating this move, and we had a real good session last week.
And, with the summer comes a lot of opportunity. Of course, we're doing a lot of things maintenance-wise, getting our buildings ready for next year and being optimistic that we'll be able to start our school year on time. And moving to new campuses, a lot of things like that are happening. But also what happens in the summer many times is summer activities with students. And so at this point, we are, as I understand this, right, Dr. Martin, we are not able to do any student activities on campus beside a graduation, of course, through June the 5th. So after that point, Dr. Martin, what are we beginning to think about in terms of student activities related to athletics, extended day program camps, reading literacy camps, summer school, et cetera?
Sure. And I think it's worth noting that our coaches, our sponsors, all of our staff here in Vestavia Hills, I mean, we are just as eager to be working with staff again as the students are. I mean, these are things that we want to be doing. I believe the governor is going to come back and reassess. She's opened up a few things, lightened some of her restrictions, but going to come back and reassess on May 15th. And so that will give us an opportunity to see, all right, what does summer look like? So for items such as co-curricular activities that take place in the summer, athletics that take place in the summer, our EDP, our extended daycare program that takes place in the summer, I think we'll learn a lot more after that assessment takes place on May 15th. In terms of co-curriculars, athletics, EDP, as I mentioned before, our state superintendent, Dr. Mackey, has mentioned that he regards those as in-person instruction. And so everything applies just like it does for our regular instruction through June 5th. So at the earliest, we would be looking at June 8th, but I still think that the governor will provide us with some additional guidance.
That's good. I look forward to hearing some about that. At some point, we know students will begin returning to campus, and we're really mindful of making sure we keep a safe, healthy environment. So talk to us about what happens during the summer with our custodial team, our staff that are on campus as it relates to cleanliness, disinfecting, when we have students that do return.
I'm really proud of our operations staff and the way they've conducted themselves. They've been busy at work. We've done a lot. I can just speak to our custodial team. We've been working every week. We meet on Fridays. We've been working with our partners for some additional training that they've provided virtually. We have providers that are giving us PPEs, so we will make sure that we have those available for staff. We're also working through one of our vendors to make sure that we have sufficient amounts of our nutrigermicidal cleaner, which I mentioned earlier in the spring, and we will make sure that spaces are cleaned each time groups come into the facility. We'll continue to adhere to public health and other state guidelines in terms of the numbers that we can have on campus in different spaces, and we'll make sure that our custodial teams are following up activities that are taking place in those spaces with thorough cleaning.
That's great, and that's something we'll be vigilant towards, and it's a collective team effort. We all believe that to be the case. So I appreciate you joining us today, Dr. Martin, sharing those things, and hopefully we've got some more updates to give. Next week, I'm going to be joined by Dr. Amy Rainey, our Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning, and Mr. Keith Price, our Director of Technology. We want to share with you some exciting information about what we're doing moving forward into next school year through technology. What we have learned over these last 2 months is that we really think having our students in the building is the absolute best thing. The relationships they have with teachers, the teachers' ability to work with our students, we think that's best. We also know that there are some realities we may have to plan for and be ready in case there has to be some continued form of virtual instruction for some students, all students. So we want to be able to do that and leverage the technology resources we have and what we have learned from these 2 months, from the feedback that you gave us during a survey we recently conducted. So I look forward to sharing those things with you about hopefully more information about the summer and then what fall is going to begin to look like for our Vestavia Hills City School students. Until then, I hope you have a good week.